Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. Protect your ankles with Prevent Sprain socks.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. We use helmets, mouth guards, shoulder pads, chest protectors, and knee, elbow, and shin pads for protection and prevention. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related, and 62% of all ankle sprains happen during practice and training. Just think about it. Very few sports can be played with an ankle injury, and it can take 1 to 3 weeks to heal, sometimes months to get back to full strength and mobility. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world, always connected, but somehow alone, trapped by illusion. We offer another path, where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling, united by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
Hello and welcome into the Varsity Sports Network live from the Advent Health Fieldhouse in Winter Haven, Florida. I'm Madison Little, joined with Michael Truillo. And Michael, we have an interesting event today. We're at an SSAC Volleyball Invitational Tournament, and it's a little bit different than the classic high school volleyball layout.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can see, there's courts galore in this beautiful facility. 32 teams started their journey in this tournament yesterday, playing through 5 rounds of pool play and then through bracket play this morning. We are down to just 4 to decide the medals. Coming up later, we'll have Central Point and Southland Christian to decide the gold medal. But first, for the bronze, it's the Sebring Blue Streaks and the Bell Creek Panthers.
Yeah, and the layout of these games is a little different too. Instead of best of 5 like we usually see, it's best of 3 here. Playing still to 25, but best of 3, and so the game's a bit shorter. And also you saw Sebring, they just took on
Central Point.
Central Point, yes, and they took the L for that game, and now they're playing a back-to-back match.
I mean, but really, if you think about it, they lost that game 2-0, and if they take this game 2-0, you played 4 sets, which is the length of an average match. So it's really nothing out of the ordinary for these teams. And playing shorter formats in a tournament like this is not out of the ordinary for any sport. I mean, I used to play soccer, and we'd play 5-6 games in a day at a tournament, but the games would only be 35 minutes long.
Well, Michael, it looks like these girls are huddled up. They're getting ready to play. So, like you just said, Sebring Blue Streaks will take on the Bell Creek Panthers in this match. So any second now we'll get that first serve of the game.
Blue Streaks 1-2 on the season coming into the tournament. Obviously, they've won their way all the way to the semifinals and now into the 3rd place game. Bell Creek 6-2 behind their head coach, Michael Christie.
Yeah, this is Coach Christie's 2nd season with the Panthers, and last set they played Southland, who we will see in this next match in about an hour. They lost that one 2-0, so now both these teams are battling for the 3rd place position in this tournament.
Both teams wearing black today, so you can recognize them by the liberos. Sebring will be on the near side from your camera with the blue libero, and when the libero for Bell Creek is on the floor, she will be wearing white. The ball has been delivered to Bell Creek's Brooklyn George, a freshman middle hitter who will open the proceedings for us in this opening set. Best of 3 battle for the bronze at the SSAC Volleyball Invitational is underway. Hit from the back row, recovered by Bell Creek, off the block. Nice dig by Lackey for Sebring, tipped over. Front row recovery for McDowell, and McDowell gets it back, and the ball is ricocheted off the libero and onto the upper level here at the Advent Health Center.
Good little rally to start us off.
And that's what I've been seeing from watching the semifinals earlier today. A lot of long rallies, not a lot of service errors, not a lot of hitting errors. But we should see some very good high school volleyball here today. Little drop shot over the middle, and Sebring is on the board. Katie Scott, the sophomore, with a soft touch. And now Sebring will serve for the first time in this match. Senior Lacey Broad to do the honors. It goes down the line, back set, tipped over by McDowell, recovered by Sebring. It goes to the left-hand side, down the line. Excellent one-hand dig by Power. She sets up McDowell again. Back row, and Sebring will play in rotation. Again, a dig by Power, the libero. Back row kill attempt is easily dug out. Now Sebring goes long, and it is in right on the line, and the Blue Streaks take a 2-1 lead.
Michael, we've talked about it a lot in our volleyball broadcasts. The athleticism that goes into this sport is really underestimated, I think. You have girls literally diving, sacrificing themselves to get that point. And it's not a soft landing either.
An excellent block at the net there. That's Katie Scott again for the Blue Streaks. She'll be in on the front row all game. And yeah, I haven't done a lot of volleyball. I've been mostly doing basketball and football for the last 5 years or so. And really, it's very impressive to see how, especially on blocks and kills, how high these girls get up in the air when they jump. And it's not a soft ball, the volleyball is. It stings a little bit when you get a kill right down the middle.
And it's not a soft floor to land on either when you make those dives to get those.
It's the same hardwood they play basketball on. 2-2 early on in this one. Jada McDowell, the senior, to serve for Bell Creek.
Last match, Jada led this team in kills and blocks versus Southland. So she's a vital player on that Bell Creek team, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of her in this match.
It'll be a free ball in rotation, single block for Katie Scott again. Bell Creek recovers down low, and it's just going to tap into the net. Emma 70 recovered it but could not pass it to a teammate, and it's 3-2 Panthers.
I think they called that one a lift. She held on to it for just a little bit too long, so Bell Creek will get that point, taking the lead 3-2.
McDowell again to serve. To the back row it goes for Smoke. Tipped up, and excellent backcourt kill for Allison Pate. And Madison, you mentioned a little bit, when the ball is flying at you, if you're on that back row, as we get a little bit of a collision here, but McDowell is able to save it. Sebring, soft tip to the middle, and that one falls in. To finish my point, you have very little time to react when you're on the opposite end of a kill.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of athleticism goes into it, but also a lot of volleyball IQ, knowing whether to go for it or not. Just it's a split-second decision, and these girls, I think that's one thing that makes a smart team, is just being able to decide whether or not to go for it when it's a close call like that, like we just saw.
And double aces for Katie Scott as she puts the Blue Streaks ahead 6-3. The first ace, a little bit of miscommunication on the back line for Bell Creek as that one just fell inside the line, and then the second one was unable to be dug out. And then it's a third consecutive ace as it's deflected away by Lubinsky.
It's funny, every time they get an ace, they do a little heel click, little celebratory heel click.
That one, trying for a fourth consecutive ace, goes long into the back netting here, and it'll be Bell Creek to serve.
You know what they say, things are best served in threes.
That was Gabriela Salas serving for Bell Creek, and a vicious block of the back of the net is off the pole for Bell Creek. That was Jayla Hickey, the senior, getting up to make the block.
I think that's 5 straight points for the Sebring team. Off to a good start.
Yeah, Hickey did make the block, but it went outside of the pole. So that is out of bounds. Hickey trying to make up for it. An excellent dig by 70, and then tapped over. Nice block on the left hand by Sebring. It comes again to Michelle Cortez, and she can't find the back corner. Sebring 9-4. And on current form, Madison, this first set is going a little bit upset-oriented.
Yeah, like I just said, that's now 6 straight for Sebring. We just saw them lose in their last match. So coming back, maybe a conversation with coach between matches, kind of get their head in the game and battle for third.
From the back line with authority from McDowell, but she hits it too long. 7 straight points for the Blue Streaks. They lead at 10-4. I mentioned records coming in really briefly. The Blue Streaks are 1-2 before this tournament. The Bell Creek Panthers are 6-2. So on form, Bell Creek seemingly the stronger side. That is not how it has played out here in the early going. McDowell, touch shot for Cortez, and Bell Creek finally breaks the duck. Brooklyn George, the freshman middle hitter, outside hitter, comes back in for Bell Creek. We saw her feature prominently in their semifinals, serving deep into the second set.
That one just a little bit outside on the serve from number 1 Power, their libero. Junior, she's been pretty effective for this team today as well. I saw her earlier. She's able to, get some digs and save that team quite a bit today.
Libero is such an important position. You can't directly score off a kill over the head, but you are a defensive specialist in so many ways. As we see the libero for the Blue Streaks, Greer Smoke, recover that one. It eventually does go out of play for a point to Bell Creek.
What a cool name, Michael. Greer Smoke. That just sounds athletic to me.
11-6, Sebring. This is junior Michelle Cortez to serve for the Panthers. Over it goes, recovered by Lubinsky. Set up for McDowell, saved by Smoke. Cross corner kill. Into the net. McDowell keeps it alive. Back to Sebring with a free ball. Blocked at the net by the Panthers. And that is the ups of Brooklyn George, only a freshman.
It's crazy to see as much young talent as we've seen so far this volleyball season. These younger girls, of course, they play club as well, but they come in and they fit right in with these seniors.
And you'll see in the second match, Southland Christian has a couple of 8th graders on their roster, and they've made it all the way to the finals. Set across, one-hand dig, recovered by Power. Free ball for Sebring. Back set, kill across the back. Dug out by Cortez. McDowell again. Excellent recovery. Tapped over the middle. Diving recovery by Power. Tipped over the net by McDowell. McDowell again on the recovery. Cross court set it goes, and just over the block and down for Lacey Broad.
What a rally, Michael. That was awesome. One thing that is very important in this game, you have a lot of girls on such a small court. Communication is key in this game, as it is in most sports, but this game particularly. Like I said, you have 6 girls in the span of, one of the smallest courts of play. And so communication important, and I think we just saw a rally ago that kind of affected that Blue Creek team.
Yeah, and we've seen it earlier again with Bell Creek, where we had 2 players run into each other when trying to recover a serve in the long point streak for the Blue Streaks. And from the center line all the way to the back out of bounds line is only 10 meters. So think about that as, about less than 10 yards on a football field, and you're cramming 6 people, all about 6 feet tall, into that space.
Yeah, definitely.
This will be a free ball sent to the back row. McDowell to try and finish it off again. Greer Smoke continues to play excellently defensively. Cross court, libero to libero. Power digs it out. Back row kill, touches the top of the net from Cortez. Across the court, into the face of the defender as Lacey Broad picks up another point, number 13 for the Blue Streaks.
Another thing we talked about earlier, that ball is not forgiving. So when it goes directly into your face like that, it has to sting a little bit and take a couple seconds to recover. But she's back up on her feet, which is good to see.
McDowell, a little bit of trickeration off the back set, just sets it over. Back row kill attempt, gets down. Allison Pate with the excellent leverage to try and spin that ball so it just curves in right in front of the back line. Looks like a bit of an awkward serve there by Michaela Mann. Looks like it came off the side of her hand.
The amount of force that goes into getting that ball over the net is also another thing underestimated. I don't know if you've ever tried to serve a volleyball the full distance, but it's not easy.
Not since middle school. It's been about 15 years. Brooklyn George, one of the more consistent servers for Bell Creek, is back there. The Panthers will make a substitution. Jacqueline Schultz, the junior outside hitter, enters the game for the first time. She wears number 20. George now to serve. Set to the left-hand side. Nice sideline dig. Cross-court McDowell. And she hits it too strong. And Sebring goes back up by 5. We've seen Bell Creek recover a little bit. They were down by 7 at one point.
But Sebring able to keep that lead pretty comfortable for them, giving them a little bit of room to play with. Keep them comfortable, keep Coach calm on the side, I'm imagining.
Blocked to the front by Allison Pate. Sebring restores their 6-point advantage. I've noticed, just from watching a little bit of volleyball high school this season, that there is a lot of variance in serve styles. Nice little touch play over the net by Scott to give Sebring another point. You don't want to just hit it hard every time. Sometimes it's more about placement.
Yeah, well, we'll take a quick break right here on the Varsity Sports Network and more volleyball action when we come back.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
And welcome back to the Wingstop broadcast booth on the Varsity Sports Network. Once again, we are live from the Advent Health Fieldhouse here in Winter Haven, Florida. Right now, a pretty dominant matchup. Sebring taking the lead over Bell Creek 17-10. Michael, this has been a fast-paced match so far.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of long rallies, and we've seen a lot of athleticism, especially on the Sebring front line. I'm going to make that mistake a couple of more times this match. I'm a Sebring grad, so every time I see SE, that's where my mind goes. But yeah, so they have had 5 or 6 blocks in this first set, and just creative play again on the front line for Sebring. Back set, blocked away in front by Lackey. Dug out over the net, and it goes out of bounds.
I think an underestimated position are those defensive positions on the volleyball. You see everybody talking about the kills and, you know, the hits, aces, but you never really hear much about the, you know, the blocks at the net.
A little bit of miscommunication there for Bell Creek. Ball has to go over. Free play now for Sebring, although the set does find its way over the net. McDowell stands on her 2 feet and plays it across. And getting it back from the nice set is Allison Pate, and she finishes it off again. And Sebring has pulled out a 10-point lead, their largest of the set, and are just 5 points away from cleaning up set number 1.
And what a comeback. We saw them in that first match that against the
Center Point.
Yeah, Center Point, who we will see next match. But they were down the entire time, lost that match in 2 sets. So definitely a turnaround for them. Like I said, probably a pretty convincing conversation from Coach between them.
Yeah, remember, best of 3, not best of 5 here at the SEAC Volleyball Invitational. And again, a seeing eye shot from the back row. Katie Scott finds the dead space, and it's 21-11.
They'll finally give Smoke another little break. She's been running all over, so much needed water break for her.
The only libero on the team.
And checking in her place will be number 8, Aaron Rodgers.
We've seen a couple of these serves from both sides go long. That one from Katie Scott, no difference. Only a 1-point break for Greer Smoke as she comes right back in.
A quick sip of water and you're back on the court.
Salas serves for Bell Creek. Tough dig. This one's going to have to go. Bit of an easier play here for the Panthers. Set at the net. Tough set. Recovered by Hickey. And then from the back line, one-hand dig by Power. Smoke again. Paid again to the back row. McDowell digs it out. Power. And played over by Hickey. Right in front, and a nice little drop shot off the hands of McDowell and out of bounds.
Sebring able to take that 10-point lead again with a score right now of 22-12 in their favor.
And that might have been the longest rally of the game. That was, I think, 5 plays over the net that were successfully defended. The score may be 22-12, but do not let that fool you. This has been a quality match so far. Jessa Coughlin to serve for Sebring. Battle at the net. It hits the out-of-bounds pole, and it's a Sebring point, 2 points away from taking set number 1. It'll be Coughlin to serve again. Again, a little bit of miscommunication on the Bell Creek side, and eventually the kill attempt goes into the net from Jacqueline Schultz.
And this is potential set point, Michael.
Remember earlier in the set, Sebring went on a 7-point run to take, or an 8-point run to take a 7-point lead. The Panthers battled back to lower the deficit to only 4, but since then, it's been all Sebring, and it's finished off by Aaron Rodgers at the net, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Blue Streaks.
They'll take a quick break before the next set, and we will break with them. So stick around because more to come on the Varsity Sports Network.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world, always connected, but somehow alone, trapped by illusion. We offer another path, where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling, united by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
And once again, welcome back to the Varsity Sports Network, live from the Advent Health Fieldhouse in Winter Haven, Florida. Coming to you from the Wingstop broadcast booth, and I want to give a huge shout out to another sponsor of ours, Imperial Point. If you need custom uniforms, especially they are big in the volleyball area, make sure you hit up Imperial Point for all of your uniform and fan wear needs. Michael, what a great first set between Sebring and Bell Creek. They're getting ready to go into that second set of 3.
Yep, best of 3 here in this SSAC Volleyball Invitational. It was very competitive. The final score of the set, 25-13, didn't really convey how competitive it was, but almost every point was a rally.
Yeah, like you said, we had one that went over 5 plays, 5 times back and forth over the net. That is pretty good defense on both teams, able to keep that rally going. But I think the story of there was just how well communicated this Sebring team was.
Yeah, we saw a couple of miscommunications that led to Sebring points from the Bell Creek side. I was very impressed by the Sebring libero, Greer Smoke. Excellent defensively. It seemed that she had an answer for every kill that Bell Creek tried.
And now we're getting ready to start set 2, and Smoke will actually take service, I believe.
We're still trying to figure that out. Couple of statistics here for Sebring on the season. Leading the way in assists is Jessica Coughlin. We've seen her on the floor. And actually, Allison Pate is the team leader in digs before this tournament anyway, with 78.
She also leads in kills, Michael, so pretty effective player for the Blue Streaks in Allison Pate.
And we've seen her do some damage on the left side of the net as well. As we're waiting for a little bit of miscommunication here. I believe, and we're just trying to get starting lineup set, see who's going to be on the floor. Eventually, Smoke does come in to play that back line position. Sebring with a 1-0 lead will start. Remember, they're on the near side wearing the black trimmed in blue, libero in blue. Bell Creek, black trimmed in teal, libero in white.
Number 12, Lacey Broad, will actually take the service for the Blue Streaks. And Michael, while we're on the theme of stats, she actually leads the team like we just saw in serving aces.
And we saw Sebring at one point in that first set go 3 service aces in a row, and it was indeed Lacey Broad serving all 3 of those aces. This time it is in play. Set straight up and tapped down, and Bell Creek ties the set. Jayla Hickey, the senior, with the impressive play at the net. And something that has struck me with the net players, both attacking and defending, is how little reaction time you have. Because the ball can go any which way off the set. You have to react, you have to jump, you have to set your hands and either block it or attempt the kill.
Yeah, and with the way that these girls are able to get the ball to spin in different directions, on like off of serves especially, you never know where it's going to go, like you said earlier.
Off the block and down for Katie Scott, 2-1 Sebring. As we'll see Smoke check out in favor of sophomore Erin Rogers. She wears number 8. Tipped off the net, second time a serve has gone into the net and over, and taking advantage of the free ball at the net is Rogers. And it's a 2-point swing for the Blue Streaks. Scott waits for the referees to signal play, and she does get the service in. Backline kill attempt by Lubinsky, no good, and then off the libero and out. As Sebring, second verse, same as the first, early on in this ball game, or in this second set rather, asserting their dominance on the offensive side.
We keep saying second set, but for Sebring, this is actually their 4th straight set. They just came off that match against Central Point National. Central Point has 2 teams here. They have their regional, which is their JV, and then their national, which is their varsity. And we will see them up next in their match for first place against Southland Christian.
And actually the JV team was really cool for Central Point. We can see them right across the way playing in a consolation bracket match. Nice save at the net by Salas. Another soft touch for Rogers. Over it goes Salas again. Long set, cross-court kill, over the net and down for Allison Pates. And it's a 4-point swing for the Blue Streaks. Remember, this is the battle for the bronze medal at this Sunshine State Athletic Conference Volleyball Invitational. 32 teams started yesterday with 5 rounds of pool play and then bracket play this morning into these medal matches.
It's a long weekend for these girls, Michael. A lot of play.
So these teams that are in the finals and third place match, they've played, this is going to be their 7th match in 2 days, and even with that shortened match format of only 3 sets, it's still a lot of volleyball on your legs and a lot of volleyball on your arms in 2 days.
also in the midst of their regular high school seasons as well.
And another excellent kill for Sebring, as Bell Creek couldn't dig that out of the back row. Jada McDowell, who was probably the most impressive player for Bell Creek in that first set, is being picked on the back row here.
Yeah, before the set I talked to Coach Michael Christie about his team and asked him, who are those girls to look out for? And he had me put a star right next to Jada McDowell's name.
We saw her get 4 or 5 kills in that opening set to lead the offense for Bell Creek. She's now rotated back to the front row with the point going the other way. So let's see if she can cause some damage. She wears number 3. The set goes long. Here is McDowell. Off the block, recovered by Sebring. Set goes over the net. Set up by Salas. McDowell, right-hand kill. Excellent save by Pates. And then back the other way, McDowell again. A little bit, again, miscommunication, and McDowell can't save it. Both Cortez and Salas both went for the same ball, and it just popped up straight in the air.
What a rally, Michael, and once again, ended by the lack of communication on the Bell Creek side, something that we talked about earlier. How important it is for these girls to be constantly communicating, constantly in cahoots about what's going on their half of the court, and unfortunately that resulted in a point for Sebring on Bell Creek's side.
Yeah, that last set went over the net, and it was killed by Katie Scott. Almost looked like Brooklyn George set it for the wrong team. But it is 8-5 Blue Streaks. Here's the set for McDowell. This one just tapped over to the middle. Diving stop by Broad. Into the middle it goes, and down the line for Allison Pate.
Score now 9-5 in favor of the Blue Streaks. They're able to just kind of pull away and keep a comfortable lead as we saw in the first set, and now we're starting to see once again here in the second.
This time near side set, over the net and out of bounds. Nice quick reaction play by Gabriela Salas, but you couldn't get that to land in bounds. And I think you're seeing all the volleyball over the last 2 days kind of take its toll on the Bell Creek side. They do look a little bit slow to react to some of those plays. And that one just feathers into the net. Sebring again with the point, now up 11-5.
And we'll see number 11 Smoke, the libero for Sebring, take the service once again. That one just a little bit short, Michael. Hits the net, giving a point.
And we're seeing a couple of more service errors from both sides in this second set.
They're tired. They've played, like you said, 7 matches. And now, it's starting to show a little bit late in this second set.
Set up by Salas. Tipped over, but met by Scott at the net. McDowell with the soft touch. Diving stop by Coughlin. And on the other side, Broad with the kill attempt, no good. McDowell back the other way. Pate digs it out. Back set, cross-court attempt from Broad, no good. McDowell has to dig it out all the way to the backcourt, and it's going to be a free ball for Sebring. Coughlin setting it up for the hammer shot by Katie Scott, and it is 13-6.
That went over the netting in the back onto the other court, so
I
think we'll have a second while that ball makes its way back over to court 1 where we are.
Did that ball touch off a defender? I thought it did. But maybe it didn't. They're going to give the point to Bell Creek. Oh, no, the ball is returned to Sebring, so I was not mistaken. The score, however, is 12-6, not 13. Salas, the preparation. Touched over by Brooklyn George. Sebring back the other way. Nice dig by Cortez. Set up for McDowell, and that's hammered long and out of play.
It looked almost as if she could have touched it. I think that could have gone either way, but I agree with the call. Didn't touch her hand, but I think Bell Creek was hoping it did.
Little quick set over the net. Sebring a chance. Nice dig out by the libero. Power. Up it goes. Off the block and down. That was Brooklyn George with the kill attempts. the other way, set up for the back row, and the pass doesn't go as far as Michelle Cortez would have liked it to. 14-6 Sebring.
All right, they're going to take another time out, and we are going to break with them once again. We'll be right back on the Varsity Sports Network.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
And welcome back once again. I'm Madison Little, joined by Michael Trulio. And that was just a quick timeout, and they are back and ready to play with a score of 14-6. Sebring in favor, and they will take the service once again.
Yeah, Bell Creek head coach Michael Christie took the timeout, trying to get a little bit of triage as the Panthers are bleeding points right now. A little bit of Bell Creek statistics from this season. Actually, their leader in most statistical categories is Jayla Hickey, as that dig from power goes out of play. 2.3 kills a set, 455 hitting percentage, and 20 total blocks for Hickey. But she has not been as big a factor in this match as we would have previously thought, spending most of it on the bench. Jada McDowell has been the key player for the Panthers. She is up there in all of those statistic numbers as well, with a 339 hitting percentage and 2.1 kills per set on the year.
Well, speaking of Jayla, she just came in again, so I'm sure we'll see a bit of action from her.
She wears number 17. From the back row it goes. Nice dig by Cortez. Set up for McDowell. Pate with the save for Sebring, but the ensuing set is into the netting. And Bell Creek takes the first point out of the timeout. Maybe a little bit of strategy adjustment coming from Christie to try and get the Panthers back into this one. A little bit of an awkward dig, but it is batted around to Coughlin, and she finishes off the point 16-8.
Sebring still holds the lead, doubling the points that Bell Creek has with a score of 16-8. They'll take the service once again.
Set up by Salas, tipped over by Jayla Hickey, and there she is. We just talked about her. She leads the team in most statistical categories. She's back on the floor and doing damage.
Yeah, I think she's had a hand in each one of these plays since she came back on the court, whether it be a block or a tap. But there she was once again, and they're able to make a couple-point stride right there.
And as good as Jada McDowell has been at the net, killing and blocking, serving has not been her forte today. That is her third service error to give the ball back to Sebring with a 17-9 lead. And now, Chrissy Cecil calls for a timeout with the Blue Streaks. We'll end the break. We'll be back with SSAC Volleyball on the Varsity Sports Network.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
And welcome back to the Varsity Sports Network, live from the Wingstop broadcast booth. I'm Madison Little, once again joined by Michael Trulio, and we are here at the Advent Health Fieldhouse in Winter Haven, Florida for some SSAC volleyball. Michael, what are you seeing from these two teams right now?
Well, I'm seeing the Sebring Blue Streaks inch closer to that bronze medal at this tournament. They now lead 18-9, and it's just what we've talked about, Madison. It's just a little bit of communication issues on the Bell Creek side, a little bit of tiredness creeping in. They have a lighter bench than Sebring does to draw on, so the Blue Streaks have had a little bit more rotation throughout these 2 days. And I just think it's a technique, a little slight technique advantage for Sebring. Their sets have been very clean, and their kills have been cross-court or down the line. Nothing really in the middle that it's easy to dig out for Bell Creek.
And they were just able to, Sebring was just able to get another point on the board, making the score 19-9, and they will remain service with number 4, Megan Coughlin.
Alyssa Lubinsky, the sophomore, checks in for Bell Creek, as we might see some squad rotation from both sides as we come down to the end of the match. Free ball for Sebring. Cross-court set. Allison Pate dug out by McDowell. Pate got it right back, put it over the net. A third chance for Pate. She goes cross-court, and it's finished off by Jessica Coughlin.
And they're just 5 points away from winning this match, Michael. They've been able to dominate, now having an 11-point lead over Bell Creek. And it's been that way pretty much this entire match, able to pull away, give themselves a comfortable lead, and just kind of roll with it.
Yeah, Bell Creek, as another kill attempt goes into the net. Bell Creek was close in that first set for a while. I think it was 11-10 at one point. But after that, it's been all Sebring for a set and a half, and they have just exerted their dominance and pulled away here. We're going to see another substitution for Sebring. Maya Hawthorne, the junior, will check in.
I don't think we've heard her name yet today, Michael.
No, and with this game almost in hand, I mean, you can't really say that because volleyball is like baseball and softball. It's not over until the game is over. It's not there's a clock ticking down. But I think we will try and see some of those younger players get in on both sides here late in this second set. Cross court is set as a little bit awkward for Pate to handle, just has to play it over. McDowell tips it to the middle. Pate recovers, set up for Rogers, over and down.
I love those little trick plays where it looks like they're going to go for it, try to get that big kill, and then they just hit it with the fingertips, tap over, little trick play, and just, in that case, caught Bell Creek off guard.
And you can sell it, really, with a big old swing and then just tap it over right at the end. Bring your arm back, lower that arm rotation. And it really is tough to be a defender in this sport because the ball can go any which way. You got to read not only the arc of the ball and the speed of the ball, but also the spin, because then you've got to play your arm angle a little bit differently to compensate. It's so many things going through these players' heads in a very short amount of time. Another drop shot for Aaron Rogers, as it's 2 points to home now for the Blue Streaks.
They'll remain in service once again. Still number 4, Megan Coughlin. She's had quite the run there.
This is going to have to go over. It hits the net. Is that in play? No. Sebring will take the point, 2 points away, and it's been a 6-point swing with Coughlin serving.
And now we have a potential match point, Michael.
Just one more for the Blue Streaks. It goes over to Pate. She tries to do the job herself. Recovered by Bell Creek. It's going to be a free play as the ball was sent over by Power. Set by Coughlin. Pate down the line, up and down, and that's it. It's a third-place championship for Sebring at the SSAC Volleyball Invitational 2021, 25-9 in the second and final set. It's been dominant the whole way through for the Blue Streaks.
Yes, congratulations, Sebring, on that third-place win. But coming up here in just a couple minutes, we'll have the battle for the gold between Central Point White Tigers and the Southland Christian Flames. Stick around because that's coming up right here on the Varsity Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. Protect your ankles with Prevent Sprain socks.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. We use helmets, mouth guards, shoulder pads, chest protectors, and knee, elbow, and shin pads for protection and prevention. One of the most important yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related, and 62% of all ankle sprains happen during practice and training. Just think about it. Very few sports can be played with an ankle injury, and it can take 1 to 3 weeks to heal, sometimes months to get back to full strength and mobility. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks We're scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
What's up, sports fans? This is Bobby Allen, broadcaster for the Varsity Sports Network, and I'm here to tell you about an incredible opportunity that your business can advertise with us on the only 24/7 high school sports network. We can base any package around your budget or advertising needs, and it is unparalleled in comparison to other opportunities out there. We cover every inch of the Sunshine State with 16 channels of varsity sports coverage. Come join us in supporting these student athletes, local schools, and the local communities. Email us today at sports@varsitysportsnetwork.org or call the number below on your screen to find out how we can help you market and promote your business in the best possible way. Again, I'm Bobby Allen with the Varsity Sports Network, and we are the home of high school sports in Florida.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
And welcome back once again to the Varsity Sports Network. I'm Madison Little, joined by Michael Trulio, and we are here at the Advent Health Fieldhouse in Winter Haven, Florida, watching some SSAC volleyball. We just saw our first match of the day for third place between Sebring
And Bell Creek.
and Bell Creek. Sorry, too many teams today. Sebring, Bell Creek, Sebring able to take away. And Michael, that was pretty much a Sebring dominant match.
Yeah, after about the first half of the first set where Bell Creek kept it close, Sebring figured out where the weak points on that Bell Creek back line were, targeted them over and over and over again, and Bell Creek just had too many errors on passing errors to respond effectively, and eventually it was just a clean 2-0 for Sebring.
And one thing that we've talked about a lot is the communication that is required to be successful in this sport. And I think on Bell Creek's side, there was just a lack of that communication, which ultimately resulted in Sebring points, just too many of them.
Yeah, we saw players running into each other, trying to both dig or set the same ball. We saw miscommunication on set angle to where the hitter wanted it. So it's just a little bit, it's just things that the coaching staff is going to have to work out in practice. And as the season goes along, I'm sure they will get better at it.
And it wasn't all bad for Bell Creek, though. They definitely have some talent on that team, a lot of talent on that team, especially in Jada McDowell, who was kind of the leader in that last match.
Yeah, and I was also impressed with freshman Brooklyn George, who took a lot of serves for Bell Creek as well. But coming up next, it's the big one for all the marbles. Gold medal final between the Southland Christian Flames and the Central Point White Tigers.
Both teams undefeated in this tournament so far. Southland able to get their win in the last match, and Central Point able to do the same. I mean, right now, this is what we always say. There has to be a loser.
Yeah.
So now this is kind of the battle to who's going to remain undefeated and who's going to get that loss on their record for this weekend.
I mean, and it's not just in this tournament. Combined, all season, there's one loss between these two teams. Central Point lost their first game of the season to Lake Nona all the way back last month. And they've been perfect since then, and Southland Christian is 9-0 all season. So it's going to be a very competitive match. I expect to see both sides, not many errors, a lot of long rallies, and a lot of fast-moving volleyball action.
Yeah, and just for the viewers' sake, Central Point will be wearing the highlighter yellow and Southland in kind of the red and white jerseys today. So easy to keep up with compared to last match. They were all black. But we will take a quick break for just a couple minutes, and when we come back, we'll have the Central Point take on Southland in the battle for gold. I'm Madison Little, Michael Trujillo. We'll be right back on the Varsity.